guys, get in here and shut the door. Cassie has said with her whole chest, I'm testifying against you, Diddy, and no, I don't need to be anonymous. However, Diddy's team is scrambling because they just found out a couple of weeks, literally before the trial, that what? That there are 4 victims. Everybody's trying to guess who the 4th victim is. I actually think it's Daphne Joy who might be the 4th victim because I don't know. I don't know. She got to keep the peace with 50 somehow. I think it's at Daphne Joy, but forget all that. There are now 4 official victims that are going to testify to the worst. And Cassie is ready to go to war with Diddy. Unfortunately, Diddy is scrambling over this, y'all. Scrambling because they were not prepared for this. They said Diddy barely had his defense ready. And when he thought that there were only 3 people and he thought he knew who the 3rd person was, this 4th witness is a surprise witness from the prosecution. And they want to be able to, they know who it is, but they want to be able to release the name to the public because while they are testifying, here's what people are saying Diddy's plan is, okay? Why he wants these witnesses' names made anonymous. So if they testify anonymously, it doesn't mean Diddy doesn't know who they are. He's going to be sitting in court looking at them. He has that right to face his accuser. It is something very common in today's jurisprudence. Well, it's a hallmark of the American legal system. You get to face your accuser. That's not it, okay? He's going to be sitting there watching them. There'll be cross-examination, rebuttal. However, since this is not a regular courtroom, it's the Southern District of New York, they do not allow cameras in. It's going to be live tweeting. It is going to be known to everybody that they cannot release these people's names. Now, Diddy wants that not to be true because the plan is, I'll just come out and say it. Basically, he can basically do jury tampering at that moment. So let's just say if it was Daphne Joy, and I'm not saying it's her, but let's just say if it was Daphne Joy that actually gets up on the stand, okay? Now, they'll have cross-examination, they'll do this and that. The jurors listen, they go home. What if you go home and you get on Instagram on your way home, you on the ACE, you gotta get on the F, or maybe you go on Uptown. I don't know. The whole point of the matter is, but let's just say you get on and you're scrolling, and all of a sudden you see all these stories about how Daphne was this, Daphne was that, Daphne liked it. Well, even though you're not supposed to do that, you're going to have to take it into account. They're basically saying that Diddy wants to know everybody's business, and he wants it out on Front Street because he needs to find a way to smear them publicly, because how else is he going to get his false narratives out? Because they can't do it in court. And that's what Diddy's mad about. These little underhanded games, these ways that Mark Agnifilio says he's going to get off, they cannot do it in court. On top of this, Anthony Rico was right to run. If you guys don't know who Anthony Rico was, he was Diddy's black man attorney. Why am I bringing up Anthony Rico's race? Because Mark Agnifilio is now playing the race card. On top of that, Diddy is begging Joe Tacopino to represent him. Joe Tacopino before, that's the guy that got A$AP Rocky off, they got Trump off, they got everybody off. Joe Tacopino said before, it was like, yeah, I'm not talking to Diddy because Jay-Z said they fell out and they persona non grata. We not messing with each other. However, he said that Diddy keeps begging and he's going to go listen to what Diddy has to say because Joe Tacopino is basically arguably the best trial attorney in the U.S. right now, right neck and neck with Alex Spiro. And you know Alex Spiro is not getting his hands dirty with Diddy, right? So he's hoping that he can get Joe Tacopino to represent him in trial. Joe Tacopino is going to take over Anthony Rico's role. Anthony Rico left because he said, 1, we're not prepared for trial. And 2, ethically, he cannot move forward, which means that maybe the Fed's accusations of Diddy doing jury tampering and all this other stuff are true. So that's where we find Diddy right now. According to Anthony Rico, they already weren't prepared for trial. And now they have a 4th witness. They counted on Cassie. They thought they had a defense against Cassie. The whole, looked like she was enjoying it to me. That's your defense? That's your defense? That somebody that was forced to be high out of their mind was enjoying it? Anyway, Diddy is an absolute mess right now. And this 4th witness, they haven't been able to get a narrative out about them on purpose. They haven't been able to get a narrative out. The prosecution did this on purpose. Now, is it sneaky? Yes. Is it conniving? No. Is it legal? 100%. Diddy, did you really think that you were dealing with like just a civil lawsuit and you can play these little reindeer games? The point of the matter is this fourth witness, she hasn't been known publicly and they haven't had a chance to get out a false narrative about them. And the reason I think it might be Daphne Joy is because Daphne Joy before that, Diddy spoke highly of her. She was around there for a lot. But okay. So anyway, let's get into this. They said three other victims are preparing to testify against a disgraced musician anonymously. People magazine is confirming this. Sorry about that. My DoorDash came. Y'all know who I get. Anyway, right? They're saying that Cassie is prepared and willing to testify under her own name. Victim 2, 3, and 4 have asked that their identities not be revealed to the press and the public. Prosecutors request that the anonymous victims be referred to at trial only using pseudonyms, okay? And for the court to require the defense not to share identifying details about them. They said this case has already received an exceptional amount of media coverage, which will presumably only increase as trial proceeds. Permitting these measures will prevent unnecessary public disclosure of the victims' identities and the harassment from the media and others, undue embarrassment, and other adverse consequences that would also certainly follow if these women were forced to reveal their true names or publicity to their true names at the trial publicly. Yeah, you guys, listen. Diddy is done for. It doesn't matter how many lawsuits Tony Busby fumbles. Diddy is 100% done for. Now, the only real question then becomes, and this is the question everybody's wondering, is what's Diddy's defense? Because right now, Diddy's only defense is they loved it. They couldn't get enough. Ooh, you see what that is? That is Diddy's for real, for real, for real. Only defense right now that they loved it and they couldn't get enough. Y'all, listen. What are y'all thinking? What are y'all feeling? I'll tell you one thing. Diddy is a donor. I'll tell you another thing. Diddy thinks he can sit there and say Cassie enjoyed it all he wanted and it was a loving 10-year relationship. Diddy, you can lie all you want. What are you going to do when a 10-month pregnant Cassie sits on stage looking beautiful, looking full of life, and crying her eyes out over the hell you put her through? At the end of the day, Diddy is done for. This new witness for, he's not gonna like. But I do like the fact that Cassie said, baby, you think I've been hiding away? Because this is another thing that people have been saying. Let me just give you this last angle before we go. People have been saying that on top of Diddy trying to humiliate her, saying her tape was being shown at prison, doing all this stuff, they're also trying to say that Diddy is trying to guilt her. Like, you was around my kids, I was gonna marry you. Yeah, things got out of control, but we was having fun. And now, because you wanted a bag, you said some stuff, and the feds are pressing charges, and that Cassie might feel a little guilty. Word on the curve is Cassie does not. Word on the curve is his little schemes are not going to work. But he is now trying to guilt Cassie into being quiet. And he thought it was working because Cassie has been silent. And he thought that if he could guilt the prosecution's star witness into being like, well, never mind, it wasn't that bad, or even pay her off to say it, that would be the answers to her prayers. But by saying this, Cassie is letting everybody know, baby, I'm here and I am going to testify against you. And I'm going to tell you to your face the way you know you made me feel, what you made me do, and the way I had to act. Y'all, listen. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. But Cassie 100% means war, and Diddy is sick about that fourth witness. Let me know in the comments who you think this mystery fourth witness is. I know some people have been saying it's Young Miami. Young Miami just did a podcast saying Diddy made her feel safe in her womanhood, which made me feel sad for her. Baby, you got a lot of Chanel bags, but that's self-esteem. Ugh. Diddy ain't even make the mother of his kids rest in their femininity. Femininity. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.